You never want to be walking around day to day with a chip on your shoulder. And it's very important that every man heed this message, because there's a lot going on in the world right now. And I see a lot of people that I'm acquainted with, people in my family, people that I know are talking crazy. They're really talking like they about to do something to somebody. And this is why it's such an important thing that people, men, women, everybody, but especially my channel is for men, so I talk to the guys and I help the guys. You can't be out here walking around with a chip on your shoulder, because you will bump into somebody that also has a chip on their shoulder, a bigger chip than you. If they have you in your feelings, if you're emotional rage when you think about this group of people, and this can go from everything from race to dudes that get women and dudes that don't get women, and alpha, beta, and rich and poor, and privilege here, privilege there, gender, all this stuff. So religion, the hate can go in all different types of directions, sometimes in multiple directions. And see, when you're walking around with a chip on your shoulder, just mad at the world or mad at a particular group of people, this always leads you down a path of destruction, of your own destruction. And you may destroy others along the way, but you will definitely destroy yourself. Because when you hate more than you love yourself, you always destroy yourself. When you love yourself, I mean really in love with yourself. When you love yourself, because people like to talk about, oh, that's arrogant. No, you need to love yourself more than you can ever hate someone else. Because that will stop you from going down a path of insanity. That will stop you. Because when you love yourself more than you can hate anyone else, you're gonna step back once you start going down a dangerous path. And there's always a progression from a dangerous path. You will think you're doing the right thing. You will think you're a good person. You will think you're the one that's on the right side of things. Because some people get this mixed up, they get it twisted. They think that when people commit an act, a violent act, they think that the person that committed this act, they know they're bad. That's not the case. Usually the person committing the evil act, the harmful act, the act of violence that hurt other people, usually that person thinks that they're the good guy. They're the one that was doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're the hero. You see, they're the hero in their own world, in their own mind. Most of us see ourselves as the hero, truth be told. No matter what side of the fence you're on, most of us vision ourselves as the good one. That's just human nature. We can't allow ourselves to go down certain rabbit holes, because once you go down a rabbit hole, you will fall into it. And I believe the book of Proverbs speaks on this as well. When a man looks for trouble, he finds it. And we know this is true. We don't even have to get biblical on this. We know this is true. If you are walking around in society with a chip on your shoulder, and a lot of times when people do this, when people have a lot of pent up rage, and they're mad at the world for whatever reason, or mad at a particular group of people for whatever reason, and they walking around and they're in the mindset where they want to act on it, they're thinking about causing harm to another person. Typically, people like this, they look for soft targets. So typically, they're looking for a person that doesn't have a chip on their shoulder. That's who they're looking to start their trouble with. That's who they're looking for. But what they don't understand, what they're not comprehending, is just because a person doesn't look like they have a chip on their shoulder, just because a person looks like they won't do something to you, you don't know what your prey really is until you pounce on that prey. You see, someone can look like they're not gonna do nothing to you, but you get into it with them and then you find out that they were too much prey for you. And this is why you don't even want to go down that path of having a chip on your shoulder, because you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what another person is going through themselves. You see, and this is how the man or the woman with a chip on their shoulder runs into an individual with a bigger chip on their shoulder. And I know everybody in this society thinks that they're tough. I already know this. Everybody in this society thinks that they're tough. Everybody. A girl this big thinks she's tough. Everybody thinks they're tough. Everybody. Everybody's tough until they run into somebody that is really tough. You thought you were a real one, but you ran into a real one. You thought you had hands, you thought you could fight, but you ran into somebody that's on a whole nother level of true savagery. And part of what really drives people to be like that is they're not very introspective. They're not even looking at their own life. They're not focused on the trajectory of their own life. You see, so people that walk around with a chip on their shoulder, they in essence do not care about their own life. And when you identify that a person is walking around with a chip on their shoulder, and this is someone that you're cool with, this may be a relative, this may be a family member, you really need to stay away from that person. You need to not hang around that person. And I don't care if you say, but that's my mama. Stay the hell away from your mama. I don't care if you say, but that's my girlfriend, that's my wife, that's my husband. You need to leave them. Whoever is in that sort of mindset, you can't be around them when they're like that. Because there's always collateral damage. And the collateral damage will be you if you hang around them. If you have someone that you know that stays with a chip on their shoulder, or they're really going through a long period of time where they're like this, they're walking around like they want to fight people, they got that kind of energy about them, or fight a certain type of person, people like that, you have to recognize this for your own well-being and stay the hell away from them. You have to have the strength within yourself to distance yourself from people that are operating like that. And it doesn't matter who they are, because you gotta love yourself. You gotta care about yourself. You gotta worry about yourself being around a person like that, because a person like that is not thinking clearly. You can't think clearly and have a chip on your shoulder. So when a person has a chip on their shoulder, you just don't deal with them. You stop dealing with them. You have to distance yourself. You have to. At bare minimum, for the time being, and if this is not part of who they typically are, which most people don't always have a chip on their shoulder from birth to the end of their life. Usually they're going through some sort of thing where, okay, this is how they're gonna be for the time being, and this could be years, or it could be for the rest of their life that they're like this. So you have to distance yourself first. Love them from a distance. If there's somebody that you love or whatever, love them from a distance. You can't be around a person like that, because they will get you caught up. Because this goes beyond what might happen. Something will happen to a person that walks around with a chip on the shoulder. There is no might. It happens every time. You will find the trouble that you're looking for. And when they find it, if that's your friend, if that's your girl, if that's your whatever, if that's your mama, you don't want to be there when they find what they've been looking for. Save yourself. If you care about your own well-being, you can't afford to be hanging around someone that doesn't care about their own well-being. And the person with a chip on the shoulder doesn't love themselves. Not enough. Because they're not focused on their own life. When you're really focused and consumed about where your own life is going, and you're really trying to get yourself on the best path that you can be on, you're not watching other people. You're not watching other people like that. You're not investing emotional energy in what somebody else got going on. You're not staring with eyes green with envy, looking at what somebody else has going on. You're not doing any of that when you're actually focused on your life, when you're actually loving your own life.